All right, today at the White House, President Trump will host German Chancellor Friedrich Merz as the two leaders are expected to discuss trade and the ongoing efforts to end the war between Russia and Ukraine.
Our senior White House correspondent, Peter Doocy, joins us now with more. Hey, Peter.
And a televised Oval Office meeting is going to be the first thing these leaders do today at 11:30 when Chancellor Merz gets here. So if President Trump decides that he wants to air out any dirty laundry about Germany and the things that they have been doing over the last couple of years, then the new chancellor is not going to have a chance to talk him out of it. The way this White House operates basically is Trump and the new Chancellor Merz are going to get to know each other because they have no personal history live on camera. The visiting leader is apparently going to try to talk Trump out of hiking tariffs on the EU next month and encourage him not to pull back from treaties that require the U.S. to defend Europe, like NATO. And that follows an hour and 15 minutes President Trump spent on the phone yesterday with Vladimir Putin, who told the president a big retaliation for the breathtaking drone strikes against Russian airfields is coming. That is why President Trump now says it was a good conversation, but not a conversation that will lead to immediate peace. President Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to the recent attack on the airfields. The Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, is in Brussels right now at NATO headquarters. Some other world leaders are reportedly bent out of shape that he skipped a meeting about helping Ukraine. France's Macron is out there saying that the U.S. wants to pull troops from Europe to stage them in the Pacific in case China acts up. We'll see. Back to you.
Well, kind of interesting because we never know how those Oval Office meetings are going to go. And the chancellor comes in because he says, I'm going to get to that 5% defense spending. That should please Trump. What about, do you think that maybe the chancellor goes public and says, we need you, Mr. President, to give Ukraine arms? How will that go?
Well, we'll see. And you have to remember that just because President Trump doesn't have a personal history, he has no beef with Chancellor Merz. But he had 4 years to think, to read the international page of the New York Times or whatever he's reading, New York Post, and think about things that he wished our allies were doing differently. And so he has had a long time to think or possibly stew about things that the Germans have done over the last couple of years. He did not have the best relationship with Merkel, but he had an impactful relationship with Merkel. There have been a couple chancellors since then. And so it is entirely possible that the new chancellor will come in and say, okay, we'll spend more, but you have to be there with us. And I don't know how that'll go.
Will it be televised? Will they have a press conference?
Yeah.
Not like a formal press conference, but the two of them are going to sit there and probably take questions for an hour. An hour to an hour and 15 minutes is generally how these things run now.
Are you
and
ready?
That'll be at 11:30.
Are you ready?
I'm not going to go in, but I will be ready to stand here and listen and take notes on my phone.
Peter, I tell you, we're not talking about it now, but we're playing your cuts of your questions to KJP, and you must be just beside yourself at this hour. I mean, how do you need a
Tell
therapist.
the people at home if they're just waking up. She's just decided she's going to be an independent, not a Democrat anymore.
It's like I had a dream and I opened up the first page of her book about the broken White House, and the first sentence says, Peter Doocy told me, and I didn't listen to him.
That is true.
I don't know.
That is a dream.
It is true.
But she should dedicate the book to you.
And I know we're going to talk about this next hour, but the thing about this book is that she, towards the end, before Biden dropped out, after Biden dropped out, she would say that legitimate questions were misinformation. And I told her once, you can't just call something that you don't like misinformation. And so I don't know how she is going to square being the public face of saying things that we now know were not true about the president and about policies. I don't know how she's now going to come out and say, you know what, just because I swore on camera that things were okay. Actually, here's what was really going on.
Thanks, Peter. I just want you to get that off your chest. I just want you to get that off your chest.
Well, we've seen it in other books.
So, all I can say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Peter.
So just real quick on the Ukraine situation, the President of the United States says Vladimir Putin's going to respond. Why is he responding? He's been responding for 3 years. He's got over 1 million casualties. The Ukrainians are showing resourcefulness like we can only imagine, almost from a movie. They're blowing up bridges and underwater explosions, derailing trains. They hit 7 different military bases, not civilians. And Vladimir Putin's going to respond? You've been responding by kidnapping children and bombing apartment complexes. People should understand, the Ukrainians aren't perfect, but they're on the right side of things. It is so necessary for them to be successful. And by the way, though, the president came out and was critical. He also cited Mark Thiessen's column yesterday, calling on Congress to give him leverage with Putin by passing the Russian sanctions. So the president knows what he's doing.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.